How to not imprison your buyers. Welcome to Sales for Nice People, the daily podcast for ethical entrepreneurs who want to learn how to sell more because of their values and not despite them. I am Martin Steller. I help nice people sell more. And obviously, you don't try to imprison your buyers. Except maybe you do. What I'm talking about is the mechanism at play in the psychology of communication and messaging where you try to convince somebody that your idea is right. And this can be about a sale, it can be about an idea or a plan. Anytime that you try to convince and persuade, what you are effectively doing on a psychological level is imprisoning the other person. Because if you are right and you know what's best for them, you are now taking the authority position and you are looking for ways to convince them, to persuade them, for them to fall in line with your idea. And that makes you the authority, and then you remove their autonomy. This is pretty much the same thing as removing the autonomy when you send somebody to prison. You don't do that. This is not how nice people operate. Not only that, it just doesn't work. When you try and convince and persuade, all you're doing is triggering resistance from people. Because the more you try to push your agenda and you try to convince people that you are right and they should just see your point of view, because then they will realize that you were right all along and that you can make life better for them. You're making a fundamental mistake in trying to make your point of view superior to theirs. This is not going to work ever, unless you want to bully people into buying, and why would you even do that? So instead of trying to convince and persuade people, and this is why Sales for Nice People is based on the premise that you don't convince, you don't persuade. Instead, you ask questions so that people convince themselves that your point of view might actually be the right thing for them. We don't tell people what is right for them. We help them get to the clarity they need to make a decision about what is right for them. And if you do that right, in many cases, what is right for them will be buying from you. This is a much nicer way to get people to a sale, and you don't have to force your point of view onto the other person. You don't have to convince, you don't have to persuade. And for God's sake, please stop trying to tell people what's right for them, because if you're doing that, you're making them wrong, and nobody wants to be made wrong. So ask your buyer questions. Questions are the answer to everything. If you want people to buy your work, get them to the clarity they need to make a decision. Probably the decision is going to be, where do we sign? How do I start? Where do I pay? This is Sales for Nice People. Sign up for a short daily email at martinsteller.com/nicepeople, and I will see you again tomorrow.